The old house loomed large, casting a long shadow over our family gathering. We were there to settle Grandma Rose's affairs. She'd been a recluse, a collector of antiques and oddities. Amongst her belongings, tucked away in a dusty attic chest, we found it. A Ouija board. Its polished wood gleamed, inlaid with ivory letters and a planchette that felt strangely cold to the touch. None of us admitted to buying it for her. None of us dared to voice the thoughts creeping into our minds. This board, this portal to the unknown, held a strange allure. We, her skeptical grandchildren, found ourselves drawn to it like moths to a flickering flame. Little did we know this seemingly harmless relic would unravel our world, plunging us into a nightmare that still haunts us to this day. The air in the attic seemed to crackle with a hidden energy. Dust motes danced in the faint light filtering through a grimy window. We stood there for a long moment, captivated by the ornate board and the secrets it might hold. The old house creaked and groaned around us. Wind howled outside, rattling the windows. We gathered in the living room, its faded grandeur doing little to dispel the growing unease. The air hung heavy, thick with anticipation and a growing sense of dread. This was not a game, we told ourselves, but a way to connect with Grandma Rose, to say our final goodbyes. We carefully arranged ourselves around the Ouija board, fingers resting lightly on the planchette. The room was illuminated by a single flickering candle, casting grotesque shadows that danced on the walls. Nervous laughter punctuated the silence as we tried to lighten the mood. Outside, a storm was brewing, mirroring the turmoil building within us. Each clap of thunder, each flash of lightning seemed to fuel the energy in the room, heightening our senses. We were ready to believe, ready to connect. "Is anybody there?" my cousin Sarah asked, her voice barely a whisper. We waited, holding our breath as the planchette twitched. It moved with a slow deliberateness, sliding across the board until it rested on the Y. A collective gasp escaped our lips. We looked at each other, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement. The planchette continued to move, spelling out words, answering our questions about Grandma Rose, her life, her secrets. It felt like we were talking to her, her voice echoing from beyond the grave. Was it real, or were we fooling ourselves? Was it the power of suggestion, or something more sinister at play? We pushed these doubts aside, caught up in the moment, eager to hear more. Then, the messages took a sinister turn. The planchette spelled out a chilling message: "Beware the dark room." A cold dread washed over us. The dark room. It was a room at the back of the house, always kept locked. Grandma Rose had forbidden anyone from entering it. "What's in the dark room?" someone whispered, their voice trembling. The planchette moved again, slowly, deliberately. "Don't go in the dark room." The message hung in the air, heavy with unspoken menace. We sat there for a long moment, the silence broken only by the sound of our own ragged breathing. The room felt colder now, the air thick with an oppressive fear that seemed to seep into our bones. We tried to ignore the warning, to dismiss it as a cruel joke. But the message had struck a nerve, planting a seed of fear that quickly took root. Strange things began to happen. Shadows danced at the edge of our vision. We heard whispers in the dead of night, our names called out in the darkness. Objects moved unexplainably, doors creaked open and slammed shut. A feeling of being watched permeated the house, sending shivers down our spines. Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares plagued us, vivid and terrifying, filled with images of a shadowy figure lurking in the dark room. The once comforting familiarity of Grandma Rose's house had been transformed. It was as if the house itself had become infected by something dark and malevolent, its very walls whispering secrets we were not meant to know. Then came the night when my cousin Emily encountered it. Driven by a morbid curiosity and a desperate need to break free from the suffocating fear, she decided to face her terror. Armed with nothing but a flickering candle, she crept towards the forbidden room. The door creaked open as if inviting her in. The air inside was stagnant and cold, heavy with the stench of decay. As she took a tentative step inside, the candle sputtered and died, plunging her into absolute darkness. A blood-curdling scream pierced the night, followed by an eerie silence that was more terrifying than any sound. We found her huddled in a corner, eyes wide with terror, her face ashen. She couldn't speak, couldn't tell us what she had seen, but we didn't need words. The terror etched on her face spoke volumes. We had to get rid of the Ouija board. We gathered around it one last time, our fingers trembling as we touched the planchette. "Go away!" we pleaded, our voices hoarse with fear. "Leave us alone." The planchette moved with a swiftness that surprised us, spelling out a single chilling word: never. We took the board outside and built a bonfire. The flames roared and danced, consuming the board in their fiery embrace. We watched as it burned, hoping that would be the end of it. But deep down, we knew better. The nightmares continued, the shadows lingered, the sense of dread remained, a constant weight on our chests. Grandma Rose's house, once a place of comfort and family gatherings, now stood empty, a chilling reminder of the darkness we had unleashed. We tried to move on, to forget the terror that had gripped us, but the experience had changed us, left an indelible mark on our souls. We were haunted by what we had seen, by what we had heard, by what we had felt. The Ouija board may have been gone, but the evil it had awakened lingered, a constant shadow in the corners of our minds. Emily, traumatized by her encounter, refused to speak of that night again. Her once vibrant spirit was dimmed, replaced by a quiet sadness that broke our hearts. We had gone in search of answers, a way to connect with our grandmother. Instead, we had stumbled upon a darkness we could never have imagined, a darkness that clung to us like a shroud. Some may dismiss our story as the product of overactive imaginations or a series of unfortunate coincidences, but we know the truth. We know what we experienced. The Ouija board is not a game. It is a portal, a doorway to a realm of darkness that should never be opened. Our experience taught us a valuable and terrifying lesson. There are forces at play in this world that we do not understand, forces that are best left undisturbed. Grandma Rose's Ouija board may be gone, but the warning it carried will stay with us forever. A warning we now share with you. Beware the allure of the unknown. Be careful what you seek, for you might not like what you find.